Welcome to the Lemons and Pineapples podcast, the personal development podcast for folks who want more fulfillment, connection, purpose, and joy in life. I'm your host, Emma O'Brien, a no-nonsense coach, a seasoned entrepreneur, photographer, rescue dog mum, and happy life enthusiast. Each week on the podcast, I share tools, tips, and strategies, amazing guest interviews, and uplifting conversations that will help you improve all areas of your life. Let's dive in. Hi folks, a very warm welcome to season 4, episode 11 of the Lemons and Pineapples podcast with me, Emma O'Brien. Today, my guest is Karen Bozansky, and we are talking about why women struggle to make money and how to rewire your mindset for wealth and worth. First, a bit about my guest. So Karen is the CEO and the founder of theluckysoul.com, where she helps female entrepreneurs uncover their inner blocks to outer worth. Karen's clients have paid off tens of thousands of dollars in debt, doubled their salaries, started businesses, created multiple 5-figure months, and been featured on the Today Show, Yahoo News, Goop, and more. Through her signature membership, M-Spot, she helps women tap through hidden money blocks to achieve financial freedom and abundance in all areas of life. Her mission is to create a better world for the next generation of women and girls by disrupting outdated patriarchal money paradigms and getting more money in the hands of more women. Welcome to the podcast, Karen.
Thanks so much for having me, Emma. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to dive into this conversation. We were just saying off air, this is a much needed conversation about why there aren't more women in positions of wealth. So will you kick us off by sharing why you are on this mission in particular and your personal story when it comes to wealth and money creation?
Yeah. Well, I want to live in a world run by women. I want to live in a matriarchal society, and that's not a pyramid. It's more of a circle where everyone is included and everyone has access to resources and everyone has the ability to thrive. How I got into this work is a little convoluted. It actually started in 2008. I was hit and run over by a car, and that led me on a very deep and long healing journey for many years. And what I learned on that healing journey was that the physical pain and the PTSD that I was dealing with and trying to heal wasn't actually about the PTSD and the chronic pain. It wasn't about the surface level issue. It wasn't until I dug underneath the surface and looked at the emotions, the feelings, the stories, the beliefs, and the events that happened that led to the PTSD and the chronic pain and worked through those different layers that I was actually able to start healing. Well, fast forward to 2013, when I found myself in close to $13,000 worth of debt. Yikes. I was like, all right, this is likely not about the money. It's not about the surface level issue. So I transposed what I learned about my physical healing onto my financial life. And I was like, all right, this ain't about the money. This has got to be about the deeper stuff, the stories, the events, the beliefs, the feelings, the emotions, what I learned about money as a kid and all of that. And so I did a deep dive into all of those things. And I had used tapping to help me heal those layers physically. And I learned how to use tapping to get to the root of those issues that were going on that were affecting my financial body. So as I tapped through all of that stuff underneath the surface, I always like to think of it as kind of like a garden. Like if you think of it like your financial garden and you get like whatever your issues are, like for me, it was debt, like that's a weed in my garden. Mm-hmm. And traditional financial advice will come along with a pair of scissors and they'll give you tools and exercises and strategies and apps, and we'll cut that weed off at the level of the soil and it'll look like it's gone, right? But the thing is, there's still all of that stuff underneath the surface that caused that weed to grow in the first place that most financial people don't get to. And so the work that I do now is centered around the work underneath the soil, so that we're not, I mean, the tools and the resources and all of the strategy and everything, those are important. Those are a critical piece that some people don't like to deal with. But they're really crucial. Like we have to have those tools and the tools that help us get to all of that stuff underneath the soil so that we take that weed out of the garden at the level of the root, and then we can till the soil, create new, better soil for whatever we want to grow in that soil. So we can take our seeds and plant flowers and put our affirmations in there. So that's kind of how I got into that work. And I wound up paying off the $13,000 worth of debt. And while I was doing it, this is really important. As I was doing this money mindset work, I realized that the path to wealth wasn't made by cutting coupons and shrinking and contracting and getting smaller. And that for me was like I was like, what? What do you mean? It was about going bigger and adding more value and increasing my self-confidence and my self-esteem. And that was a wild journey for me. So while I was paying off the debt, I actually taught myself how to live in abundance as I was paying off the debt. So it wasn't just this like tight, contractual, horrible experience. And in that time frame, I took a trip to Costa Rica. I bought a new to me car, and I was feeding myself little bits of joy and pleasure throughout the whole experience, so that it was a journey of increasing abundance and not just a journey of like cutting things out and contracting and being miserable until I got to my goal. So that was a really important piece for me to learn how to live in that abundant state while I was going towards paying off my debt and reaching one of my money goals.
Yeah, amazing. So much in here. And it just, I was thinking as you were talking, I had a conversation with a friend a while ago, and there is a big difference between saving and investing
Yeah.
when it comes to money. We can save in so I don't know what your interest rates are like in America. So UK interest rates, I've got a bit of money in the UK. The interest rate is like 1.1%. The
Yeah.
money's like devaluing sitting there.
Yeah.
And it's best to put it in an investment. Yeah, there's a little bit of a risk with an investment, but also the return rate is much higher. And it's a
Yeah.
different mentality
It is
than
totally different.
hoarding the money. I'm going to store the money
I'm going to
for a
put it under
rainy
my
day.
mattress. Yeah. That's
Well,
what I used
effectively
to
what you're
do.
doing in a shitty 1.1% savings account, winning,
Yeah. I had less
versus,
than that in my old Bank of America savings account. It was
yeah,
like point something something. And I was
yeah,
like, what am I even doing? Like, I'm just giving
yeah,
Bank of America a loan. Like, this
yes,
is ridiculous.
that's it,
Yeah.
absolutely. So it's about getting, and I think this is something we can touch on a little bit as well, is it's about being money savvy for women as well. I know that this we're
Mhm.
talking about the EFT tapping, but I think it's just also worth mentioning. I think fewer women than men are money savvy about looking after money, helping it grow, investing. We
Yeah.
tend to give our power away to financial advisors. For the most part, they're
Yeah.
male.
Yeah.
Not saying
Or
that they don't know what they're
husbands,
doing. Or
partners,
correct.
parents.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And you
Yeah.
giving your, I think this is part of the reason we're having this conversation is a lot of women give their power away. And I know I come from generations of women who have given their power away. And it's been something, a paradigm I've been shifting. And I think it's the same for so many people because you've had this
Yeah.
modeling of, men know best. Just let them
Right.
handle it. And
Right.
I think it's something that I saw you'd written on your website is you give your power away when you
Yeah.
give your control of your money to
Right.
somebody else. So,
Because whether we like it or not, the more money you have, the more power you have. So if you're
correct.
uncomfortable with the idea of having more power, you're
Hmm.
not going to let yourself make more money. Now,
Yeah.
why would we be uncomfortable with the idea of having more power? That's the question, right? Because
Hmm.
how much power have women been given over the course of history?
Not nearly enough.
Not
It's just been
nearly
taken away.
enough. It's
It's been taken
only been
away.
taken away. It's
Yeah.
only been suppressed.
Hmm.
It's only been like we weren't even allowed to have our own bank accounts without we couldn't get a credit card without the signature of a male relative. We could
Mm.
be fired for getting pregnant. And it's like we had to lean on men to stay safe
Hmm.
financially in generations past. That was something that we had to do. We had to give our power away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we might not be able to survive. Like we would not be able to buy groceries. We wouldn't be
Mhm.
able to feed the children. So like, why are we afraid of that power? Because the power that was taken away from our parents and our grandparents, they they developed a fear around money, right? Lots of fears around money. And so I get into some generational programming with money. I'm just going to share this study. There's this wonderful study called the cherry blossom study, where they took a group of mice and they exposed them to the scent of cherry blossoms. And when they exposed them to the scent of cherry blossoms, they shocked them. So eventually, over time, this became like a Pavlovian response. They just uh, expose the mice to the scent of cherry blossoms, and the same fear response would go off in their brain as if they had already been shocked, even if they weren't given the shock. So it was
Yeah.
the scent of cherry blossoms that they started to become afraid of. Well, these mice had mice pups, mice babies, and they exposed the mice pups to the scent of cherry blossoms, and the same fear response went off in the pup's brain. That's inherited fear. It's inherited trauma. So they have a fear response to that stimulus, even though they've not had a direct negative experience with that particular stimulus. Well, this went on for, I can't remember if it was 4 or 5 generations, but there are studies with worms that have gone up to 14 generations showing this inherited fear. So if you think
Mhm.
about that in terms of us and our money and the fears that our mothers had, our grandmothers had, our great grandmothers had, and the amount of power that they were allowed to have, virtually nothing,
Yeah.
right? Then it makes sense that, of course, we have that same fear going on inside of us. We're afraid to
Yeah.
own our power. We're afraid to speak up. We're afraid to use our voice. We're afraid to be big and bold and beautiful and brilliant and make more money, because that's going to give us more power. And in
Mhm.
generations past, more power has not been accessible to us. It's been something that they've been afraid of. And it's something that's just, that's been taken away from us if we got it. So there might be a program going on in your subconscious that says, if I have more power, if I have more money, somebody's just going to take it. So why even bother?
Yeah. 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 It's so interesting. So, I come at it, and it's all energy work. I come at it from a shamanic perspective. So I like doing shamanic journey work, and I've been doing my own work because I've been really, really blocked. And I know I've been doing all the work in my business. Nothing's happening. I'm thinking, do you know what? There's something else going on here, because,
Mm.
and I don't know, I can't intellectualize my way out of it. And
Yeah.
I did some journey work, and I found I was carrying from my grandma's side of things, my mum's side of things, a belief that women are worthless.
Yeah.
So if you're walking through the world with women are worthless, of course it's going to be difficult to get stuff done. Of course it's going to be difficult to move the needle, because there's a programming of
Mm-hmm.
it's work, you're worthless. So
Mm-hmm.
the energy you put into what you're creating not going to be that great. You're
Right.
going to self-sabotage, you're going to
Right.
procrastinate. I mean, I was
Yep.
finding I was getting to my desk and I'm going, I've got a big long list of things to do,
Yeah.
but I actually just I can't get it done. And it was
Yeah.
ridiculous. But it was just going back and clearing that and doing some
Yeah.
some generational energetic healing
Mm-hmm.
work. I have been so productive since doing
Yeah.
that. It's
Yeah. I
amazing.
love
So
that.
this, yeah, I know it's brilliant.
Yeah.
So this energy works really good. And just to come back to your talking about the studies with mice, they did so I don't know who they is, but somebody, a scientific person, did a study on the um, children of Holocaust survivors, and they'd
Mm-hmm.
found that they actually had an epigenetic adjustment in one of their stress receptor genes, which
Mm-hmm.
made them more likely and susceptible to be anxious and worried and
Yeah.
hypervigilant, even though they hadn't been
Right.
exposed to the events of the Holocaust. And of course,
Right.
we're all programmed by how our parents model the world to us. And I think
Yeah.
especially for women, if you've been modeled money stories where women don't have control of money, they don't have any idea
Mm-hmm.
about what money they've got. They've definitely probably not got investments, let alone savings,
Mm-hmm.
or
Because
maybe we've got women who have got escape funds, secret
yeah.
savings.
Yep. And we're
And again,
told that women aren't as good with money, which is a
yes,
bold-faced lie. There's actually science to disprove that at this point, and showing
yeah,
that women investors are actually more successful than men investors. Women leaders are more effective than men leaders.
yeah,
Like, there's so much evidence to the contrary, but we've been fed this narrative for our entire lives that we're just not good
mhm,
with money.
yeah,
That, we are literally worth less. Like we're still making only about 80, 82 cents, 84 cents to the man's dollar. What does that tell us on a subconscious level?
Yeah.
You're not valuable. You're not as valuable as a man. You're not as worthy as a man. And it's like, those are really insidious programs that will cause us to procrastinate, that will cause us to sabotage, that will cause us to, not start the business, that will cause us all kinds of problems in our financial lives.
Yeah.
And we don't even know it because it's like, it's just hanging out in the subconscious.
So, which leads us beautifully into, can you share a bit more about what EFT tapping is? Because for anybody listening who's like, Karen did
What the
what?
heck is that?
What did you do? So if you can talk through how you've used that, I'm really interested in how you've used that to uncover subconscious beliefs for a start. And then,
Yeah.
of course, how you've used it to then clear your debts, get your car, heal
Yeah.
yourself physically, and
Yeah.
do a load of
Yeah.
work on your money blocks.
So the first thing I want to say about tapping is tapping doesn't change anything in your life. Tapping changes who you are in relationship to your life. So what tapping is a combination of ancient Chinese acupressure and modern psychology. And what we're doing is we're tapping on the same points on the body that they use in acupuncture and acupressure, but rather than needles, we're just using a light tapping sensation. And what this does is it stimulates the energy in the body in the same way that it does with acupuncture and acupressure. And on a physiological level, what tapping does is it sends a calming signal to the amygdala in your brain, which is the body's fight or flight center. And it sends that calming signal to the brain to turn off the fight or flight response, or what I call freaked out brain, and turn on.
I love that. That's probably the best description of the amygdala ever. Freaked out brain. Like
I
it's just,
mean,
oh my
everybody
God, there's
knows,
a
right?
problem everywhere.
Everybody knows what freaked out brain is. It's like, oh yeah, I get that. Yeah. It's like you're in crazy brain, you're overwhelmed, you can't make a decision, you're procrastinating, you're eating Ben and Jerry's, like you're doing all the things. Everybody knows that space. So tapping will help turn that off and turn on what I call peace brain, and what Harvard cardiologist Herbert Benson calls the relaxation response. So that's like your parasympathetic nervous system gets activated. That's when you're more relaxed, when you're more grounded, when you can make better decisions. If you have money stuff in front of me and in front of you, and your relaxation response is on, your peace brain is activated, like it's just numbers. It's not a whole story about like what a dum-dum you've been with money and how you can't reach your goals. It's just like, oh, wow, this is my starting point. Okay, I've got some work to do. Let's go. Now you can see the forest through the trees in terms of your goals. You can identify what you want, and you can even get excited about your next steps and where you're going and what you want to accomplish. So it really is good for identifying those limiting beliefs, everything that we've been talking about and more, and letting them go on a physiological level and starting to feel safe with money. Because when we even talk about money, nobody wants to do it, right? And your whole central nervous system just goes, and it's like, you can't make a good decision from this place. Like you can't dream big from this place. You've got to like relax and let go and trust. And so tapping helps us create that space of trusting and that sense of safety where we can move forward, take action towards our big dreams, and not sabotage, not screw it up.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. I teach heart math, and one of the things with that is bringing you out of fight or flight into that kind of rest and digest, and like you've said, switching off the amygdala, freaked out brain. Switch it off. Give it a
Yeah.
bag of sweets and shut it up.
Yeah.
We don't need your
Yeah.
input right now. What we need
Yeah.
is our logical brain input. Like you've said, is to drop the story. I think a lot of the problems in our lives aren't caused by the actual circumstances. They're caused by all the stories we tell ourselves about what it
Right.
means.
It's an internal game. And that's why I
Yeah.
say money, your money stuff is not about money.
Yeah.
It's never about money. It's never about money. It's always about the story you're telling yourself. It's always about the limiting belief that you're bumping up against. It's always about the self-flagellation that might be happening.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can I just get back to center so I can see this clearly without the story, and then take action and kick ass?
I love
Because
it. I love it. Um, what are some of the most common money beliefs you see women wandering around with that keep them perpetually playing small?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many. Money is evil. If I have more, other people have less is a big
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Which is totally untrue. How could I be making more money when people in the world are suffering? Money is the root of all evil. There's it's a childhood belief. Money doesn't grow on trees.
Hmm.
A lot of us were taught, which is so funny because money is paper and paper does grow on trees. So
Go figure.
some money actually does grow on trees. Isn't that cute? Um, you have to work hard for the money. That's a
Mm.
big one. And
Hmm.
this is like a tricky one because like there is hard work involved in
Yes.
working or building a business or whatever it is that you're doing to bring in money. But if you have that belief, which I have really struggled hard with, you have to work hard for
Yeah.
the money.
Yeah.
And one of the ways that I've gotten myself out of it is asking myself, how can I make this easier? Or does this, even like, does this actual thing need to be done? And does it need to be done this way? How important is this really? But it's always the question of like, am I making this harder than it actually needs to be? And if so, how can I make it easier? And a lot of times, like, it's just like, well, just stop. You don't even need to be doing this right now. Or I'll give you an example. In my first course that I did, I wanted to include tapping sessions in there. So I thought, oh, okay, I'll pre-write all of the tapping sessions. I will create Canvas slides for the tapping sessions so that when I'm recording it, I'll have a new slide for each phrase. So it was like dozens and dozens of slides for
Yeah.
one tapping session. For each line would get a new slide. And actually creating it beforehand was more work for me than when I normally do it, when I just kind of do it in the moment and I'm just in the flow. And it created so much extra time and work for me that in the iteration of that course, which became my money mindset course, which is now my membership, I asked myself, I'm like, I want to include more tapping sessions, but how I did it before was like so stupid. And I say that with all the compassion and love I can muster for myself, who was under the program of like, you got to work hard for the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, how can I make this easier? And I was like, well, I'm like, honestly, I'm like, just having a topic and then showing up on Zoom and recording myself and just going for it is so easy for me. It takes no time at all. And it's more fun. And the tapping session that I get on the other side of that is also more effective because I'm more present and I'm letting like the energy just flow through me. So
Yeah.
that's what I've done now for everything, that all the tapping sessions I create now. I'm just like, I just pop on Zoom, hit record, and I just go for it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think I see that a lot with people as well, and I've fallen into that trap before. It must look more polished if I
Mm-hmm.
want to earn more money. And then you'll look at some people online who are doing very well, they're really established, they have
Mm-hmm.
earning a lot of money. They're not necessarily putting out highly produced, really
No.
polished videos, podcasts, everything else. So actually you can give yourself permission to show up as you
Yeah.
are today, right now, and make something. If you've got something to put out there, it doesn't have to
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
perfect. It's all about your mindset rather than, the,
And weirdly, like people don't even want perfect. Like they see a
yeah.
perfectly polished video and they're like,
Mm.
that's curious. But they see someone with just like a face to camera video who's like walking down the street going like this, and they're like, oh, I can relate to that person.
Yep. Yep.
She seems
That's it.
cool. I like what she
Yep.
has to say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been bumping up against this. I re-upped my YouTube channel this year, and I've been, I've really had to work on like progress, not perfection, because
Yeah.
I'm like, this ain't gonna be perfect.
Hmm.
And I'll notice like I'll trip over a word, or like I will like download the video and like rewatch it, and like I'm like, oh, what's happening with my hair there? I probably should have fixed that. And I'm like, meh. And then I just upload it to YouTube, and I'm like, I'm just leaving it in because it's too much trouble and it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. I can't anyway. It's going to be a totally different tapping session if I do it again. And I'm like, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. And this is
Yeah.
good enough. And I've
Yeah.
learned how to like train myself to be okay with like B minus work. And I'm like, as long as I think it's like a B minus or a B, like it's going out into the world, because I'm just, if I'm waiting for perfect, then I'm never going to get anything done in this lifetime.
No, and also if somebody isn't going to not watch your video or not buy from you because you've got a hair out of place, and quite
Yeah,
frankly, if that is the thing that bothered them in a video, they must carry on. Because
absolutely.
please work
Absolutely.
away, people. If you have got
I
nothing better
mean,
to do, please
I've,
work away.
that's going to help me filter out my people, right?
Absolutely. And it's going to amuse me with your stupid comment and probably boost my
Yeah.
engagement. So,
Yeah.
that's
All of that. All of
that's
that.
it. Just put it out there, folks. Karen, what are 3 ways that women can set themselves up for financial success?
I think the first thing I would say is to ask yourself, what do I want?
Hmm. Great question.
What do I want? I have not yet met a woman who can clearly answer this question right off the bat.
Hmm.
And we've been so trained into shrinking and to diminishing what we want and pretending that we don't want what we want and ignoring our truest desires, that I think the best place to always start is asking yourself, what do I want? And writing it down, like having a list. Like this is
Hmm.
the first exercise that I give my members inside of my community, is to start this list. I call it a mock tub list, which means it is written, it's from The Alchemist. But just start writing down, even if you like get the notes app on your phone,
Yep.
and just start noticing as you go through the world what sounds and looks delightful. What would be nice? Like, oh, is it that restaurant? Is it the pair of jeans that you see on the billboard? Is it a trip somewhere? Is it something that some other woman has on and you're like, oh, that's a cute little number she's got going on? Like, is it more quality time with someone? It doesn't have to be a material thing. It could be like, I want more spaciousness in my business, or I want a business, or I want to be doing work that lights my soul on fire, rather than this job that I'm just putting in the hours for and getting a paycheck for. It could be literally anything, from the smallest, tiniest thing to like, I want a manicure. I want my nails to be bright green. I don't know. To like, I want a sabbatical for a year and I want to go to all the countries and I want to do it luxury style. Like that's awesome too. So just start writing down what you want, is the first thing. The second thing I would say is start tapping.
Hmm.
Because as soon as you start writing down what you want, you're going to start noticing like some stuff come up, and you're going
Yep.
to that like, who am I to want that? I can't want that extra thing. I'm going to be greedy. What are they going to think? Who are they going to think that I am? And all of those voices, all of those programs are going to start to come to the surface. So start tapping. And I, like I said, I restarted my YouTube channel this year, and I'm uploading tapping sessions every week. So check out my YouTube channel. It's at The Lucky Soul. The channel is called Wild, Wealthy, and Free, and there's dozens of tapping sessions that you can tap with there. And the third thing I would say is really believe that you're worth it.
Yeah.
Believe that you are worthy of wealth. One of my favorite affirmations, and this was such a tough affirmation for me initially to get on board with, is I am worthy and deserving of the best that life has to offer. There's nothing that's too good for me. I am worthy and deserving of the best that life has to offer. There's nothing that's too good for me. The first time I heard that, I was like, and I was like, oh, resistance. Nothing that's too good for me. And that's actually a really great way to find out where some of your limiting beliefs and subconscious programs might be. Like if you say that phrase, or any, money affirmation or affirmation in general, if you say it out loud and you notice that, that means that there's something going on in your brain that's saying that's not totally true. And you can just ask yourself, like, what is the resistance to believing this about for me? oh, I'm afraid they're going to think, who does she think she is? They're going to think I'm a bitch. Who am I to have the best that life has to offer when people are, whatever the stories are, they're going to come
Yeah.
up. So just really just reminding yourself that you are indeed worthy of the best that life has to offer, and you are indeed worthy of the wealth that you desire. I think is really powerful. It's a powerful reminder.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I think it's always really interesting to get learn the art of self-observation. So like you've said, is when you say something like that to yourself, where do you feel the resistance? What
Yeah.
stories do you start to tell yourself? Because
Mm-hmm.
like you've said, you'll uncover people like me don't do things like that, and
Right.
that
Right.
my family's not, it's never going to happen for me
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
too late, I'm too old. And you
Yeah.
can start to make a list of all of these things. I think sometimes when you just write them down, you go, wow, that is ridiculous.
Yeah. And that alone can be the shift that you need.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
brilliant.
not complicated. Yeah.
No, it isn't. I think the only thing I would say, the caveat with it is it's ongoing work. It doesn't
It is.
stop.
It is. It is. That is the thing that it's the thing I both love and hate about money work is that it just never ends.
Yeah. New
It's like
level, new devil.
it really is. Well, it's interesting. I would actually say new level, same devil, because
Yeah.
it's same fears that pop up no matter what level of income we're at. Who am I to have more? What are they
Hmm.
going to what are they going to judge me? Who am I to, start this big charity and like build schools all over the world? And what if how is that going to change my relationships? How do I have to change who I am in order to reach this next level? And am I willing to make that sacrifice if I feel like that's a sacrifice? Because if I
Hmm.
feel like that's a sacrifice, I'm going to hold myself back, right? If I feel like it's going
Hmm.
to change my relationships, or I'm not spending enough time with my kids, or I'm going to be a bad woman or a bad girl, then I'm going to hold myself back. So it's all the same stuff. Like, even if we're just starting and we're saying, I want to get out of debt. Well, who am I to be a debt-free person? What does that look like? What are they going to think? Who's going to be mad? Who's going to, and it's like all of these stories and things that come up that can just keep us from the success that we desire. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's an interesting question with this, and it's one of the things that Martha Beck talks about in her Finding Your North Star book. Who is they? Who
Who
is
was
this
that? That is
everybody
the
of which
question.
you
I love that
speak?
question.
Who is they? And if you
Yeah.
actually also start to think about that, you'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm picturing people I didn't like at school from 30
Yeah.
years ago.
It's like
Why
Uncle
are these
Bob.
people?
It's an ex-boyfriend, and
Yeah.
it's like Sarah from seventh grade.
Yeah, why? What? And then you can actually just apply a bit of logic of why the hell are
Yeah.
they in my
I
everybody?
love
Because
that.
I
I
don't
love it.
even see them anymore, and they
Yeah.
don't. Nobody cares. They don't
The
care about me. So
mysterious day.
the mysterious they, including the they that do the scientific research that I quoted.
Yeah.
I don't know who
I
they
talk
are,
about
but
them a lot.
those people, those science people.
Yeah.
Um, Karen, this has been absolutely brilliant. I've loved chatting to you. Can you share with everybody listening? You've got a free training that I think people would
Yes.
love to know about. I will put a link into your YouTube channel. I've been on the YouTube channel, and the videos are great because they're nice and short. They're bite-sized. So for people,
Yeah.
they can go dip in, find something that tallies up with what's going on for you, and they're really short, so it's really easy and manageable. So we'll pop the link to your YouTube channel. Tell us a little bit about your free training.
Yeah, my free training is called the Guilt-Free Money Reset: 3 money guilt mistakes that you're making and how to break free. So this is for women who find themselves undercharging, overgiving, or holding themselves back from receiving. And this training will help you reset your money mindset so that you're not feeling so greedy or selfish when receiving money. It will help you get in right relationship with money, and it will help you start receiving with ease. There's a couple of really great bonuses that I've included inside of that training too. One of which is a bonus resource called 21 super practical abundance activating strategies and 12 things to stop doing straight away if you want more money. And these are like they're some of the most important things that you can do to get in right relationship with money. And they are so simple. They're really like something as simple as like organizing the money in your wallet, giving thanks for what you're receiving. They're really fun, really simple, really doable and actionable things that you can start doing and stop doing. So that's included in the training, and you can get it at theluckysoul.com/guilt-free.
Amazing. I'll pop that link in the show notes for everybody. And lastly, where can people find you online and where can they connect with you on socials?
Yeah, you can find me at theluckysoul.com. You can find me at The Lucky Soul on Instagram. It's at The Lucky Soul on my YouTube channel. The YouTube's called Wild, Wealthy, and Free. And like you said, there's a bunch of tapping sessions on there. I love doing the quick AF sessions that are usually under like 6 or 7 minutes long. So they're really fun. So yeah, you can find me on any of those places.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for joining me. I've loved this conversation. I'm sure everybody listening has as well. I will share all your stuff, and thanks for sharing your wisdom with us.
Thank you so much for having me. This has been a delightful conversation. And yeah, anyone who wants to keep in touch, please feel free to reach out. I love connecting with new folks.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you, Karen. Thank you for being with us today, folks. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now. Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you've enjoyed it, please leave me a 5-star rating and a review, and make sure you share this episode with a friend who you know will also enjoy it. I'd love to connect with you on Instagram. Please drop me a DM and say hi at Emma O'Brien Coach. And for more information about coaching with me, please head to my website, which is emmaobrien.coach.com.